Welcome to the Red Dice Diaries, and this is just a short RPG Bugbears video about a strange phenomenon that I've observed in gaming, and it's something that I've only really noticed around D&D and other games of that ilk. Now, before we get started, let me say I have no problems with D&D. I've owned and enjoyed pretty much every edition since AD&D, and I'll soon be starting a 5th edition campaign. Now, the phenomena that I'm talking about will often start with a post in a Facebook group, something along the lines of, I'm looking for a D&D game, have a 10th level cleric genned up, can't wait to give him an outing. Now, the first few times I read this, I just assumed that the character had been genned for a game that unfortunately fell through, or that the person just had a rough idea for a character, which is absolutely grand. Now, I've seen this happened quite a few times now, and I find it baffling that people would gen up characters without a game to actually play them in. Now, having a vague idea for a character, I can get behind that. I've always got a few ideas kicking around myself for characters, and I can understand someone thinking something like, hey, it'd be cool to play a warlock at some point in the future, but actually genning them? Now, part of the reason I find it so bizarre is, how can you possibly generate a character in anything but the most basic of terms without knowing something about the background of the campaign world you're going to be playing in? Now, of course, you could say that perhaps our would-be player has been told, oh, we're playing Forgotten Realms, or we're doing Dark Sun this evening. But even so, there's an awful lot of scope within even a published setting to run different types of games. Perhaps your GM's thinking of bringing in a bit of a suspense angle, or perhaps some darker themes and maybe a bit of horror, whatever. There's a wide gamut of different games that can all be run, even under the auspices of the same published setting. Now, I'm by no means saying that this is the only way of doing it, but I've always created characters after finding out a little bit about the world and what sort of game we're going to be playing. That way I can pull on my knowledge of the setting when it comes to creating a character. To my mind, it's more satisfying to say, I'm Sardak Thron. I grew up in a little village just to the south of the southern wastelands, and I went into the family business of merchants where I learned to read and ply my trade, rather than simply turning up to a game and saying, okay, I've got a first level bard, are we ready to game? Now, of course, this is an exaggerated example for effect, but I thought I'd throw it open to you people out there in YouTube land. How do you create your characters? Do you find out a bit about the background of the game you're going to be playing first, or do you create a character and then maybe think about tweaking it afterwards to suit the setting that you're going to be playing in? Let me know what you think and how you go about doing this. You can either put your comments down below in the comments section, or as always, hit me up in the Google Plus links. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You consider clicking on the red dice to subscribe to my channel. You can find us through all the normal social media, and until I see you next time, take care and happy gaming.